Hey there, Ken French of VASP Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. We're very, very happy you stopped by. Either you're going to watch this or listen to this because you want to take your business to the next level. You're probably an entrepreneur who's either just starting out or you've been around for quite a while and you want to take your business to the next level. You're probably a real estate investor, maybe even a real estate agent, maybe a professional or of some sort, professional advisor of some sort. And well, you are stopping by because you need some valuable advice from one of the top industry leaders there is. Anyway, thank you very much. Once again, Ken French, VASP Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. Really glad you stopped by.
We're here to help you. Hey there, it's Ken French with VASPsolutionsGroup.com, and I'm hanging out with Bob Bluhm from Asset Defense Team. Bob, how you doing?
Doing great, Kenner. Good to see you.
It's going to be great. We're going to be helping clients on board with really revolutionary, I would say, services that are really going to help them take their businesses to the next level, whether real estate investors or crypto investors, or whatever the case is. These services that are already basically given to them are really going to help them, who knows, maybe grow their business into the next google.com. Anyway, I'm glad you're here and this is going to be fun. Thank you everyone for hanging out here and learning about ways to bring your business from whatever, $100,000 a year all the way to who knows, $10 million a year. Bob, let's get right to it. Let's do some onboarding here. Let's talk about the 4 services that pretty much everyone's getting automatically because they've been enrolled in the VASP Cares program that we put together at VASPsolutionsGroup.com in concert with you over there at Asset Defense Team. You ready?
All set.
All right. First of all, VASP Vault. It's something we put together because so many people wanted content with respect to, tax, asset protection, estate planning. Why don't we go ahead and talk a little bit about that component of the VASP Cares program? So the VASP Vault is really something that people have been itching to, have in their toolkit to really be able to learn about, asset protection, estate planning. And I would say some of these concepts that we're talking about are not really out there in the marketplace that are specifically tailored for real estate investors or crypto investors, or really our marketplace, the solopreneur. So why don't we talk about that a little bit? What are your thoughts about the VASP Vault and that community and some of the content that they're getting in there for them as investors, et cetera?
Well, as opposed to information off of the internet, this is curated for specifically for the type of investor that we know uses VASP services. Those are real estate investors, and as you mentioned, crypto investors, others who have small businesses, and so this is information that is much more directed as opposed to very generalized information, because people going to the internet end up just simply getting confused because they're listening to some type of guru who is spouting about something that has no relation whatsoever to what they're doing. And therefore they come away just very, very confused. And then we end up getting a million questions about, well, what about this? What about that? And none of it applies. So this is simply curated, very directed information.
And because they're part of our group here with Asset Defense Team, also VASPsolutionsGroup.com, they don't have to worry about paying the $199 a month. Again, $199 a month. That's a huge savings because they've decided to have a service through, in this case, Asset Defense Team. So, by the way, why don't we talk a little bit about Asset Defense Team and you? I know you don't like to brag, Bob, but I'm going to ask you to brag. What do you what do you talk about your background? Because it's a very, very, it's a powerful background. It's a good story. Why don't you mention a little bit about your background and who Bob is?
Well, you're right. I don't like to brag. So this won't be a brag at all, but just factually, I started out many years ago as a trial lawyer and spent several years doing trial work, suing people, defending other companies. Left that as I discovered that trial work really is the lowest form of communication. It really isn't helping people. It is really a way that it's a weapon used to harm your opponent and others, because the process alone of litigation is the punishment. Whether you win or lose, you're still going to lose, even if you win, because of the expense, the time, etc. Involved. So I wanted to just not waste my life harming people and spending it in litigation, and instead became an asset protection lawyer many, many years ago. And asset protection involves freedom from fear, freedom from concern about liability, and ultimately peace of mind. So it is a much more productive area for me, satisfying what I hope to do for clients.
Again, I know you don't like to brag about yourself, but the reason I decided to do business with you at all because I trust you. I know you take good care of the client, and your depth of knowledge in asset protection, estate planning, it's second to none. And hence the reason I'm always giving you compliments. But I know our clients are working with you, and they're happy, very happy. So if you won't brag about yourself, I will. And our people out there are really fortunate to be working with you. I'm not just saying that. I really believe that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have decided to do a joint venture as we've done here, not only with VASSolutionsGroup.com, also Asset Defense Team, but also we put together Vast Asset Defense .com to be able to work together in a way that helps the business owner to have a one-stop shop. Instead of going to a lawyer here, a tax attorney there, an AI person here, a estate planning here, they're going to one spot. And I know from the feedback I've gotten that people are very happy about it. So anyway, enough bragging about you. And I guess I'll mention a couple more things about me at VASSolutionsGroup.com. The company itself has been around since 1969 under a different moniker. Now it's called VASSolutionsGroup.com. We do tax finance and artificial intelligence to help entrepreneurs, usually real estate investors, to really, use technology in a way to help them take their business to the next level, hopefully lowering tax liability and hopefully increasing their net worth. And we've gotten some accolades from some of the big some pretty big awards. So something we're doing is working here at VASSolutionsGroup.com. So why don't we get right into kind of the second component that people are getting by being a part of your world at Asset Defense Team and getting Vast Cares as a service model that's really taking it and making it easier for a business owner, so they don't have to do the struggles that would be normally befallen to a business owner. Free bookkeeping, we call it Vast Bookie .ai. It's really, we decided here at VASSolutionsGroup.com to make bookkeeping free. Basically, it make it easier for the bookkeeper or for the entrepreneur, the real estate investor, because it's tough out there. And what are your thoughts about what we put together at Vast Bookie as far as the free bookkeeping services?
Well, it's a huge cost savings in the first place because obviously you'd be paying on a monthly basis a bookkeeper. And so now you've eliminated that cost. It's bookkeeping is something that you cannot ignore as a business owner. The courts actually in the US, the courts say that in order to have an LLC or a corporation or a limited partnership that is actually recognized as a real entity, the courts expect you to have books. Why? Because real businesses have books. And if you don't have books, profit and loss statements, income statements, et cetera, the court will look at you and say, is this a real business? And if not, if they decide, no, it's not, there just aren't enough indications that it's a real business, no minutes, no resolutions, no annual reports, no annual minutes, et cetera, no books, documents are not maintained. They'll say this, you think you've got an LLC protecting you. You don't. It's not we're not going to recognize it as an LLC providing any protection to you, and they will pierce the corporate veil and take personal assets. So maintaining the corporate veil is vitally important. Bookkeeping is one of those elements that determines whether the corporation, whether the LLC is going to hold up or whether it's going to turn into a wet paper bag in court.
And the best element of it is it's free because you're part of this community. You don't have to pay the whatever $399 for your first entity, as an example. It's free. Everyone
Mhm.
thereafter costs money, but then again, I mean, depends on how many entities you have. But free is a pretty powerful word. If you have to keep books, well, why not do it here because it's free? Because you're part of our grouping. And you said something that's pretty important. It's necessary. It's you have to do it no matter what. You
Yeah.
don't want to have your corporate veil pierced, and then you have all sorts of issues. So why not take advantage of what we're doing, and it's free all at the same time.
Well, the other aspect of that is if you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. And so you've got to have books. It's just basic.
Yeah. And by the way, people who are using that service, they don't even need, and this is a big thing, they don't even need, QuickBooks or Quicken or any of that. It's again free, FREE capital, right? Let's go to the third component of Vast Cares, and that's the registered agent services. I know that you are a big proponent of registered agent services. Once again, by the way, because you're in our grouping on an ongoing basis, the first year, it's free. You don't have to worry about it. Thereafter, it's $200 for each entity. But why don't you go ahead and talk about the importance of registered agents and what really, maybe even what they are and their importance to a business owner?
Well, the registered agent is a legal requirement in every single state. Some states call it a statutory agent, but it's all the same. And a registered agent is your official representative of your entity to the state in which it is filed. And without a registered agent, the court will not accept the filing of the entity. So you must have a registered agent. Now, a registered agent could be, but I don't recommend it by any means, could be you or someone who lives in that state. Problem is, those are not professionals. They do not know what a registered agent is required to do, and therefore you really want to have a commercial registered agent. The reason is they know exactly what has to be done. They know how to get notices to you. They never take a vacation. They always have somebody at the office in that state, Monday through Friday, every business day of the year. And so if someone is trying to the state is trying to send a tax notice to you or any other kind of official notice or a legal requirement, it will be received by a professional commercial registered agent, as opposed to your brother-in-law who lives in the state, who might not even know what this thing is that came in the mail, and or maybe is on vacation for 2 or 3 weeks and it comes in, and by the time he gets home and sorts through the mail, um, the deadline is passed and you've lost the lawsuit by default. So it is not worth trying to save a few nickels to have someone else serve as a registered agent. Use a commercial registered agent, and that makes all the difference in the world. It really protects your business.
Yeah, let's have a little review. So far we've talked about the VASP Vault community where you get access to tools, resources, etc. But because you're in our world, in our community, it's $199 that you don't have to worry about. You don't have to pay $199 a month. That's number one. Also, number two, bookkeeping, free bookkeeping. What could that save you? I don't know. I throw out the number of $399 a month, but it could even be more. It could be less, by the way, but it could be more because you don't have to worry about taking care of your Quicken costs, your monthly charges there. And then finally, registered agent work. You don't have to worry about it. You're going to get all the tools that you would normally get with a registered agent. You don't have to worry about the normal ongoing fee for the first year. So the nice thing is you're getting services you need anyway. Plus, to help you take your business to the next level, you're getting that all thus far by saving, again, $199 a month for the VASP Vault, our community. And the bookkeeping, you're saving whatever the number is, $399 a month, depending on the circumstances for your first entity. And then registered agent services, which really, it could be around $200 a month, maybe even a year, maybe even more, depending on the circumstances.
Oh
So
yeah, there are companies that charge as much as $400 per year per entity. So yes. Mhm.
There you go. So let's get rid of the fourth one now. I think this is a big one. This is a game changer that really needs to be really talked about a little bit more in depth. I love this one for a business owner who just doesn't want to have anyone take care of anything but an attorney, as an example, and to make sure that everything's taken care of on an ongoing basis, and that's the extended maintenance, and extended service program. Why don't you go ahead and talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it's very important to maintain an entity. You cannot set it and forget it, as many people would like to think, because just like a car, you buy a car, you've got to change the oil, you got to change the air filter, you got to change the brakes, rotate the tires. Same thing is true with an entity in other ways. So, for example, the courts, once again, in order for it to be a real business, expect you to have annual minutes, or not even annual, on a much more frequent basis, minutes of major actions that the company takes, resolutions, which would be memorializing that action. Also, filing an annual report is critical in order to maintain an active status for the entity. If you don't file the annual report, which many people miss, the state will administratively dissolve your entities, meaning it goes away. There is no liability protection whatsoever. So at Asset Defense Team, we have this maintenance program, which will allow, we'll simply take the burden off of you. We will draft the annual minutes, we'll draft the resolutions, we will file the annual report. We will meet with you at least a couple of times a year and determine, have you sold a property, bought a property, rehabbed a property, et cetera, and let's memorialize that in minutes, which is what the courts once again require in order for the entity to be considered a real entity.
And you have a lawyer who's overseeing everything, so there's
Mhm.
true compliance going on there, and that's a major because a lot of people think, "Oh, setting up the company, that's all that matters. I don't have to do anything down the road." Well, that's not a good way of doing business, number 1. Number 2, if you have an attorney who's in the car with you, you'll get to the right spot. It really that's a big thing. I mean, and I think that kind of the scary thing is you don't want to work for all your life for whatever 30, 40 years and lose it all. Well, don't you want an attorney who's there helping you, making sure that everything's taken care of, all the, I's are dotted, the T's are crossed, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that's a vital element. And I'm very glad you devised that program.
Mhm. You bet. You bet. Very important, Kenner.
No, yeah, very, very important. So why don't we go over, people are going to have some questions. If they have any questions, please go to ADT as an asset defense team at vastsolutionsgroup.com, ADT at vastsolutionsgroup.com. There is where you're going to get your answers to your questions. Now, I'm sure you're going to have some questions about the onboarding procedures. You're going to be getting some ongoing emails and some communication from us, but please, if you have any questions, we're here to help you. I mean, we don't want a business owner out there struggling. We want to make sure the business owner is taken care of. That's hence the reason we decided to do this Basscast. We did decide to do this onboarding so we can help you to understand a little bit more about here the 4, I would say, I mean, unbelievable services that now that you have as a business owner, so you could make sure that you're taken care of on a go forward basis. So again, email ADT at vastsolutionsgroup.com if you have any questions. Obviously, you're going to have a number of links that are also going to be supplied to you that can help you if you do have any other questions. You've probably heard of FAQs out there. Frequently asked questions and if that FAQ doesn't help you, obviously go to ADT at vastsolutionsgroup.com, or might as well also call Bob's office. Bob, what office number do you want to give out?
945-542-7738 is our office number. And I'll say it again, 945-542-7738. Or you can go to info@assetdefenseteam.com and we will be able to respond at that point.
All right. Let's get ready to close up shop. You have any other statements or any other great words of advice that Bob always seems to have?
Not for now. We'll wait for some questions to come in and we'll be happy to answer anything that people need.
Once again, he's Bob Bluhm. I'm Kenner French, vastsolutionsgroup.com. Thanks, everybody.